So Apple has done it again. They've dropped their latest powerhouse, the iPhone 17 Pro Max. But the real question is, how does it actually stack up against last year's model, which was already pretty incredible? Today, we're going to break down all the key differences. We're going way beyond the marketing fluff to see what's truly new and what's, just hype. Let's dive in.
And that really brings us to the biggest question of all, the one that really matters. Is the iPhone 17 Pro Max a genuine revolutionary leap forward, or is it just another small, incremental step? Well, by the end of this breakdown, you're going to have a super clear picture of all the changes and know exactly where your money is best spent.
All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the new look and feel of the phone, then we'll dive right under the hood to check out that new A19 Pro chip. After that, it's all about the camera system, which is a game changer. Then we'll cover the super important battery and charging upgrades, and finally, we'll bring it all home and give you the final verdict on whether it's time to upgrade.
Okay, first things first. Let's talk about the very first thing you'll notice the second you pick this thing up, the design. Apple has completely rethought not just the look, but the actual materials it's built from. And honestly, it has some pretty surprising implications for both how tough it is and how well it performs.
So what's really fascinating here is that Apple has made a deliberate move away from titanium and back to this new unibody aluminum frame. And you might be wondering why. Well, it's all about performance. This new design helps get rid of heat way more effectively, which is absolutely critical for the new chip we're going to talk about in a bit. You'll also see that the classic square camera bump is gone, and in its place is this slick, horizontal camera plateau. And on the durability side of things, the whole phone is now wrapped in ceramic shield too, which Apple says gives it 3 times better scratch resistance. Plus, and this is a subtle but huge win, that new anti-reflective coating makes a world of difference when you're trying to use your phone in the bright sun.
And right here, you can really see the trade-offs in black and white. Yeah, the move to aluminum makes the phone a 0.5 millimeter thicker and about 6 grams heavier, which, let's be honest, you'll barely notice. But look at that display brightness. Jumping from 2,000 nits all the way up to 3,000 nits? That is a massive improvement for outdoor visibility. So the takeaway is pretty clear. A tiny bit more heft for a much, much brighter screen, and most importantly, better thermal performance.
And of course, we got to talk about the colors. CNET really nailed it here with this new cosmic orange. It is a bold choice for sure. You're either going to love it or hate it, but it kind of signals that Apple is willing to inject a bit more personality and fun back into its Pro lineup this year, moving beyond those usual shades of gray and silver.
A fresh design is great and all, but we all know it's what's on the inside that really counts. So now, let's look at the new engine that's driving this entire machine, the A19 Pro chip. And believe me, this isn't just a minor speed bump. This is where things get really, really interesting for power users, gamers, and creators.
So the A19 Pro is built on an even smaller 3-nanometer process. Now, in simple terms, that just means Apple can cram in way more transistors, which leads to more power and better battery efficiency. It's still a 6-core setup for the CPU and GPU, but the real magic here is in that updated neural engine. That's the dedicated brain behind all the new complex on-device AI features that this phone can pull off.
This chart right here really shows you the raw power jump, but the most significant number on this screen is the RAM. We're looking at a massive leap from 8 to 12 gigabytes. That is a 50% increase, and that's what allows for true pro-level multitasking. It means more of your apps stay open in the background without having to reload, and it gives the phone all the headroom it needs for those demanding new AI and camera features, like, say, editing ProRes RAW video right on the device itself. And this is the secret sauce that unlocks all that power. That new aluminum frame we talked about, it works hand in hand with this thing. The vapor chamber is basically a tiny, super high-tech heat pipe. It uses a minuscule amount of deionized water to pull heat away from the chip and spread it across the frame. Apple's claiming this leads to 40% better sustained performance, and that is a total game changer for anyone who games hard or edits 4K video on their phone. It pretty much eliminates that annoying performance throttling.
And now, we've arrived at what a lot of people are calling the main event. If there is one single reason to upgrade from any previous iPhone, it is almost certainly this completely re-engineered camera system. Apple's calling it their biggest leap forward in years, and you know what? That doesn't feel like an exaggeration at all.
The headline here is so simple, but it is incredibly powerful. For the very first time ever, all 3 of the rear lenses, the main, the ultra-wide, and the telephoto, all feature a full 48-megapixel sensor. What that means is you get a level of consistency in color, in detail, and in quality across the entire zoom range that was just not possible before.
No more weird quality drop-off when you switch between lenses. It's huge. And this slide right here shows the biggest upgrade inside that new system. The telephoto lens is completely transformed. We are going from a 12-megapixel sensor at 5x optical zoom to a massive 48-megapixel sensor. And this allows Apple to deliver what it calls optical quality zoom, which just means super sharp, detail-rich images all the way out to 8x. This opens up a whole new world for anyone who shoots portraits, sports, or wildlife photos with their iPhone.
Now, for all you video professionals out there, this is a monumental feature. This is something that used to be reserved for high-end cinema cameras. ProRes RAW captures the completely unprocessed data straight from the sensor. It requires the immense power of that A19 Pro, and it gives filmmakers an unbelievable amount of flexibility to color grade and tweak their footage in post-production, just like a Hollywood professional.
Apple also threw in this really clever new software feature they're calling dual capture. It's super simple, but really powerful. You can film with the front and back cameras at the exact same time, and it embeds one as a picture-in-picture. This is absolutely perfect for vloggers, or for journalists doing interviews, or even for parents who want to capture their kid's birthday party and their own reaction at the very same time.
And don't worry, they did not forget about selfies. The front camera gets a nice little bump to 18 megapixels and a brand new name, the center stage camera. It's not just sharper, it has this clever new trick where it can use AI to crop in and take a wide landscape-style selfie even while you're holding the phone vertically. It's a small thing, but it's a really smart touch.
Okay, so all of this new power, that super bright screen, and a revolutionary camera system, they all need a serious battery to back them up, right? So let's look at the practical, day-to-day improvements in battery life, charging speed, and wireless connectivity that support all these awesome new features.
This slide really just says it all. Thanks to that more efficient A19 Pro chip and a slightly larger battery, Apple is claiming the longest battery life ever in an iPhone. We're jumping from an already impressive 33 hours of video playback on the 16 Pro Max to a massive 39 hours on the new one. That 6-hour gain is a huge improvement that you will absolutely feel in your daily use. For a lot of people, this is a true two-day phone.
And when you do finally need to charge, it is so much faster. Getting from almost empty to a 50% charge now takes just 20 minutes with the compatible 40-watt adapter. That's down from 35 minutes on the previous model. That is a huge quality of life improvement, especially for those moments when you need a quick top-up before you head out the door.
And to round out all the practical upgrades, the phone is totally future-proofed with the latest wireless standards. Wi-Fi 7 means much faster downloads and, maybe more importantly, a more stable connection even when you're on a crowded public network. And Bluetooth 6 improves basically everything, from the quality of your wireless audio to how reliably it connects to multiple devices at once. It's all powered by Apple's new dedicated N1 networking chip, which just makes the entire wireless experience faster and more reliable.
So, after all of that, here we are back at our original question. We've looked at the new aluminum design, the powerhouse A19 Pro chip, that revolutionary camera system, and the huge gains in battery. So let's bring it all together and finally reach a verdict.
If you're thinking about upgrading, these are really the 4 pillars you need to focus on. First, that camera system is a true revolution, especially that 8x telephoto zoom. Second, the A19 Pro isn't just faster on paper. That new cooling system makes it sustainably faster for all the demanding stuff you do. And third and fourth are those massive, tangible jumps in battery life and charging speed. These are not minor tweaks, folks. These are major, functional upgrades that will change how you use your phone every single day.
But of course, context is absolutely key here. As CNET points out, if you're coming from last year's already excellent iPhone 16 Pro Max, some of these changes might feel a little more incremental than revolutionary. However, if you're still holding on to an iPhone 14 or a 13 or anything older than that, the cumulative effect of all these upgrades is going to feel absolutely massive.
And that pretty much brings us to the end. We've laid out all the facts, from the specs to the real-world reviews. So now, the question is yours to answer. Based on what matters most to you, is it the camera, the gaming performance, the battery life? Is the iPhone 17 Pro Max a must-have leap, or is it an impressive but incremental step? The decision is in your hands. Thanks for watching.